lovelies, a very good day to you and welcome to Honest Discussions with Jidari. I have missed you guys so much and I hope you did miss me too. If you are a returning viewer to Honest Discussions with Jidari, thank you so very much for always coming back. We wouldn't be here without you, we wouldn't be doing this without you. And if you are a new subscriber, watch the trailer that is pinned above this channel so that you will understand what we talk about on Honest Discussions with Jidari, which is actually a little bit of everything and nothing. It's been a while. Yes, I was away on break doing one or two things, and this is also to remind you that you must not be hard on yourself. You must take time out, rest, recuperate, rejuvenate whenever you feel burnt out. It is the reason why I don't come on Honest Discussions with Jidari as regularly as I should, because we all need to understand ourselves and our bodies and take time out when our bodies want that time out. You need to take care of yourself. The world can wait, and I am increasingly learning to do that these days. Thank you very much for keeping faith, for being here with me, and for always coming back. If you remember correctly, the last episode I did mention that we will be talking about how patriarchy hurts men, and here we are today. We're going to look at some of the points, bits and pieces and facts, and also sub-facts and myths about how patriarchy harms men. As I actually do believe that it is responsible for a lot of the crisis, chaos and conflicts that abound in our world today. If we can be circumspect and look deep within these issues and matters, we can actually reduce some of the damage that has already been caused by patriarchy, thereby bringing some semblance of balance into the world, bringing some sense of sanity into the world, bringing some sense of peace and harmony in the world, because everyone, you all know, we all need it today. Everyone is in chaos. So let me not deviate. Let's go right into how patriarchy hurts men. A lot of men actually do believe that they are superior, they are more important than women in the world, they are stronger and more powerful, and they have more rights by society and by God. Well, that could be true and that could not be true. It all depends on your personal perception and understanding of who God is and how He created all of us equally. I am very fascinated with a lot of the points, opinions and train of thoughts that I get from, and feedback that I get from my friends when we talk about how patriarchy harms men. A lot of them are actually very true, that patriarchy does not harm men and is actually a good thing for men, which I know, but a lot of them are not true, because they are not in favor of men. Some narratives that I got from some books by some very prolific or pro-patriarchal writers, some of which I'm going to share with you today. This was shared to me by a few friends I have spoken with over time about how patriarchy harms men, and I find it very interesting, and I'm here to talk about it more and share with you, my very beloved subscribers and viewers all over the world. And I would like you to share with me your opinions, your ideas, and what you think about as well. A German writer, Esther Villa, in her book The Manipulated Man, says, by the way, the book was said to have caused a lot of outrage and hostile criticism from women, explained how women since the earliest times have manipulated men and turned them into their slaves. Esther Villa's book also argues that women have pretended to be the oppressed sex, while in the real sense they are the oppressors. She explains how a woman manipulates a man skillfully by steps like courtship and finally marriage. Now, do you see where this is going? Hence the saying, a man chases a woman until she catches him. And with this, Esther Villa in her book is saying that the concept of courtship and marriage is actually anti-men, because it makes men the oppressed sex rather than the oppressors. Now this is very, very interesting, because I do understand Esther Villa's trains of thought in this respect. Let me give you an example which all of us know, understand and relate with. As early as 16-17 years of age, a young girl is told to get married, go to her husband's house, who will take over her care and everything concerning her mentally, physically, financially and emotionally, and even educationally. If she has the ambition to acquire an education, it will be taken over by her husband. So this is automatically means that it is a transfer of responsibility from the father to the man she's getting married to. Now, what I need you to understand in this case is the fact that in this narrative, that young girl is not given a choice as to whether she wants to get married and her responsibilities transferred to her husband or not, or she actually desire to get an education, have her own self of economic empowerment to take care of herself. She's not given that choice. So if a man is oppressed in the process of this arrangement, it is not her fault, because she was never given a choice. There are many young girls who will choose to have an education and to be able to have economic empowerment to care for themselves. And when they eventually choose to get married, it will not be a transfer of liability and responsibilities from their fathers to their husbands, but rather it will be a matured mental, physical, emotional and even economic arrangement between herself and the man she's getting married to. So if the man is being oppressed by this arrangement, I can assure you it's not the woman's fault. She is equally a victim. So you see, both man and woman are now victims of patriarchy. I hope you understand how these arrangements harm men, albeit unfortunately they don't understand how this impacts them, how it affects them, how it harms them. That is what I mean when I say patriarchy hurts men too, because it continues to make them unconsciously oppressed, and they think it's giving them rights, it's giving them privileges, whereas on the contrary, it is giving them liabilities and making them oppressed. Now let us continue. The book, The Manipulated Man, explains how the man is strict to care for the woman all his life and her offspring. He rolls the stone like Sisyphus and in turn gets rewarded by a few minutes of sexual pleasure. We can, by observing Esther Villa's assertion that a man is a slave of his desires and a woman has used this for thousands of years as a stick and carrot to keep the man chasing vanity and commit his life to serving her. Now this is also very interesting, because yes, the man plays this role, exactly plays this role, but it is as a result of the defenselessness of his partner, of his mate, of the woman he marries. If a woman is economically, mentally and socially empowered, then no woman who loves a man will sit back and watch while her man rolls the stone like Sisyphus to provide for her and her offspring without her helping him. It won't happen. It doesn't happen. But you see, because society, the patriarchal society, has already designed a system where the woman is disempowered, where the woman is made helpless. She does not have any choice. She does not have any voice. She does not have any alternative but to sit back and watch while the man rolls the stone like Sisyphus. It is the reason why women are made vulnerable when they are widowed or when they are divorced, especially in our societies. Western societies have already created a system, I call it a support system, for women when they are widowed or when they are divorced. There is hardly 3 times a woman who is widowed or divorce in Western countries that does not get social support. There is a support system both by the community and by the government for vulnerable women in these categories, divorced and widowed women. We do not have such systems in this country. It is the reason why when a man dies, who is the sole breadwinner, and the woman is unempowered, is helpless, she doesn't know how to take care of the offspring that they have between herself and the man, she is rendered vulnerable. She cannot even support her children. It is the reason why children are on the streets. I keep saying it every day. If the mothers of these almajiris on the streets were empowered, their children will not be on the streets. Any child you see on the streets, any child you see vulnerable, it is because their mothers are not empowered. If their mothers were empowered socially, economically, their children will not be on the streets. They will take care of their children with or without the man with whom they have these children. So you see, Esther Villa's book, Esther Villa's assertion is true, but this happens as a result of the helplessness and vulnerability of the women folk. If a society weakens its women's folk, it will have a weakened social fabric, and that is what we are witnessing today, especially in our communities and societies. Our societies are weak. Chaos everywhere, conflict everywhere. Why? So much poverty everywhere. Why? Vulnerability of the women folk. Because only vulnerable and weak women raise vulnerable and weak children who eventually grow up to constitute a menace to society. Alternatively, I am very certain that given the choice, no woman would want to be left in a vulnerable position when they are either widowed or divorced. Without a man, every woman would want to have the economic and social capability to care for her own offspring by herself. But it is the society that denies her that and heaps that responsibility on the man. And therefore, when the man is no more, the woman and the children become destitute. It shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so at all. You now see how patriarchy harms men. If you believe that you are the only one with the rights, with the entitlements, with all the privileges, there can never be balance. And it also put your own offspring, your own children, at great risk of being disenfranchised. Esther Villa further explains the rivalry of women. Now this interests me a lot, and how each woman feels the powerful urge and need to own a male for herself. Like a slave owner, she detests any move the man will make to offer his services to another woman, and uses all means to keep the man to herself and her offspring alone. If I may say, this is very interesting. Esther Villa did not lie one bit. This is very, very true. And let me tell you, with all measure of honesty, sincerity, and factuality, if a woman is socially empowered, economically empowered, she wouldn't want to keep a man to herself.